Your hair got long.
A little bit.
So welcome to Dallas, guys.
Thank you.
Excited about the Breaking Dawn coming out. You guys weren't actually in the movies that much. Your wolf counterparts were.
Right.
But you guys at least were in Breaking Dawn Part 1 quite a bit. So what was that experience like, at least for this film? They were doing it back to back, so were they filming scenes from both at the same time?
Yeah, it's just like one giant movie.
Yeah. How long were you out there?
A few months.
Really?
Yeah, I was on Vancouver for a while. And then we were on Ben Rouge, too, for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really long shoot. I think
Yeah.
my first day was right before Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
and
sure.
I finished on
April.
April.
Yeah, April, yeah. It's pretty excessive.
It was there were 100 days of filming.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you had to do voiceovers, things like that.
Yeah, we did have a bit of that.
It was fun. Very fun.
Your character Leah, she died saving a vampire, and no one would have guessed that she would have done such sacrifice. From the first one, how do you think that transition, or what led her to make that
I
decision?
love that was in there, and I talked with Phil about it. You know, obviously we didn't film it, but we had discussions about that. And you know, one of the things in the book about Leah is that she won't be able to have children probably because she has started changing into a wolf. Mm-hmm. And so it was very touching to me that she wound up dying, like sacrificing her life for the mother for Esme, who's sort of the maternal, the matriarch of the Cullens. Mm-hmm. It was a big gesture.
So, what's the reaction of, like, when you're walking down the street, do you get a lot of reaction from fans?
It's different everywhere you go. And in the most unexpected places, too. Like, sometimes you would never guess someone's a Twilight fan, and they're, like, the biggest Twilight fan. Like, you really have no idea. So, you just, I don't know, you don't get used to it, but you kind of are always prepared in a way, I feel like.
That is true, yeah.
You never can get used to it, but in a way, if you're going somewhere, you're always kind of prepared.
It's, I think, a particular kind of, because the fans are so passionate and can be so excited, your encounters are maybe different in some ways than if it was just about recognition, because it's not about recognition. No. It's about, like, what does this mean? You know, there's a lot of emotion behind it typically, which is transfers, so it can be a lot.
And Stewart, are you returning? Have any plans of returning in the music scene?
I don't know. Music has always been really fun, and it's a great hobby to have. And in this past movie, An Evergreen Christmas, it's a Christmas film I just finished. I played drums in the band, so I was doing a little bit of music in there. And yeah, you know, I'm not sure. We put music in some of the films we do, but we'll see. We'll see.
You graduated from Columbia with a degree in English, right?
Yes.
When you were reading the Twilight series, did you put on your critical thinking hat and say, okay, I would have developed this thing differently, or?
When I was reading the books, I mean, to me the books were just so, they required so much of your imagination. They were such a kind of escape. They were different than most of the books that I read in school. They were enjoyable in a different type of way. And I think immediately recognized that and appreciated it for that. And it's a phenomenal example of what it does in its genre. I don't think there's anything that really compares to what Bella and Edward, their journey that they take.
What about the absence of strictly good and evil theme?
The absence of the good and evil theme.
Right.
I mean, that totally shows up. I love that about the books. I think that if we look at things that we don't understand, or things that we perceive as negative, more often as something that we don't understand, or something that is not it's not as black and white as good and evil. There are different stories and there are different takes on things, and people have different reasons for being in different ways. And just because you're not like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that is bad and you are good. Sometimes that's probably not an inaccurate way of describing a situation, but not always. And look at we have so much conflict globally, and a lot of it has to do with just people not understanding.
It's funny you should mention that, because that's what I was thinking about on the drive over here. I was thinking about in some ways you could read that last scene as a metaphor about global conflict. You've got your armaments together, and you choose up sides, and you're facing each other, and what's going to stop that?
That's what life is about so much. It's I do something this way, and these people do something this way, and they see it differently. And how do we coexist? How do we both? Business is like that too. What's good business is when everybody kind of benefits, everybody gains something. So I mean, it is a little bit of an allegory.
It is. It is. And did you appreciate being in it just for that reason?
It took me a little while to to kind of see past the werewolves and playing a werewolf, but no, I think that's a really, yes, I very much appreciated that aspect of the story.
Did you get tired of the whole love triangle thing? It's like, come on, Bella, just make up your mind.
She kind of does make up her mind, but there's someone who's very persistent.
She's good at leading the other one on.
Yeah, really. I mean,
I'd make 5 movies.
Tell me you've never done that.
I've never done that.
All right, I'm fine.
In recent interviews with Stephenie Meyer, while she's out promoting The Host, she's said she's very protective of the story of Twilight and the Twilight books, and just because there's so much hate for them. I mean, what is your guys' perspective on that when people there is a rabid hate fan thing going on, and everyone's thank God this thing's over. I mean, how do you guys react to that kind of?
I mean, when you have something that is this popular, there's going to be people that love it, and there's going to be people that hate it. I mean, you hope that there's more people that love it. I think in our case, there's more people that love it than hate it. So everyone has their own opinions about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just choose, where you want to focus your energies. You want to pay attention or be bothered by the fact that it's bothering people for some reason, or it's so much easier to be aware of and live in a space of awareness of the people that are grateful for it, that you hear from every day, that light up when they talk about the characters that are so excited to meet you, and they're just so happy that it is in their world, and it's a choice. Are you gonna where do you focus your energy?
What do you guys have coming up next?
I just earlier this year wrapped a film called The Well, where I play a teenager with kidney failure, and I have a movie coming out called White Frog, and a few days ago just finished An Evergreen Christmas. It's a Christmas film, so yeah, just having fun doing different roles, jumping all over the place.
Totally different types of movies coming out. One is Misconnections. It's coming out in May. It's a romantic comedy set in New York about that Craigslist website, Missed Connections. It's kind of a cool concept. And I'm filming a movie called The Tao of Surfing that Lou Diamond Phillips is directing now, up in Santa Cruz. And the movie called Winter in the Blood, which is a Western based on a book by James Welch. It's the same name. That'll probably come out this year or something.
Does he remind you of Lou Diamond Phillips?
You know what? I thought, whoa, wait a minute, that's kind of crazy. I mean, not completely. Well, it's like Lou had, he plays a role in this movie also, and he had extensions in, so actually, but he's, you're, a little, now that you mentioned it a little.
First time you thought of that.
Yeah, I hadn't quite thought about that yet.
So what's your dream role?
Oh, you know yours.
I don't know. I don't think you'd ever could say.
I mean,
There's not a part like a
there's a
historical
couple.
figure
Yeah,
or
I
something
would love
you've read.
to
You're
play.
like, oh my God, I would kill to play that.
I would love to play Bianca Jagger.
Ooh.
And I would also love to play you know, that, and now I'm reading them all the time. They're really writing women like this, but just these smart, capable, action type, but substantive women who are trying to have it all, and the struggle of that.
Who are your favorite characters in the movie?
Favorite character in the movie? I like Chauncey's character. Sam. He's the leader of the wolf pack. And Chauncey is so perfect for that character, I think. Like, his voice is so cool. Like, his character and his wolf is, like, really awesome. I like his character a lot. He's really cool.
I actually really love Arrow, now that I think about it. In the books, I really love this Michael Sheen's character. I really liked Rosalie, but that may have been because I feel like Rosalie and Leah actually have some things in common. But there's amazing characters. And also in part 2, there's all these new characters.
So many characters.
And I think that they do such a great job. You know, it's playing a character in these movies, you're given a very sort of small, limited amount of screen time to actually do something instead of just say your lines, to actually, you know, create a presence. And I was really impressed with the way that a lot of those vampires in part 2 were able to come in and be dynamic in 5 minutes.
So on the set, was there a clique of all the vampires hung together and all the wolves hung together?
I didn't see any of that, I don't think.
Well, it's kind of weird because on Eclipse it was more like that because the vampires were filming and our schedules demanded, like...
But in Breaking Down Part 2, we're all kind of thrown in, like, the
Yeah,
same hotel.
Breaking Down Part 2
and
was a very leveling experience.
Where we were filming in Squamish was very, like, low-key, to say the least.
It was like 12,000 people.
Yeah, so it's kind of just like everyone kind of, you always saw each other in passing in the hotel, and everyone was always just in the same area because there's like a Walmart.
We also just I didn't
really
know
cool.
who people were for
Yes,
so long. I mean, you know,
I actually
5 months into filming, I'd get into an elevator and like I just pretended I knew everybody all the time because, and the cast too, because chances are they were in the
cast.
cast.
It was confusing, like their names and their character names. Mm-hmm. Like I remember when I got onto Eclipse, that was the most confusing thing because I just had met all the Wolfpack, and I could not remember what. I couldn't, you know, the character names and the real names, I kept mixing them up.
There's something like 96 major characters.
Yeah,
it's something, you know, incredibly large.
Kristen Stewart was saying that between takes, all the guys would, you know, be just doing push-ups and stuff, you know, trying
Yes.
to keep their muscles up, you know, and she thought that was kind of amusing. And I'm thinking, well, that's not really fair, you know, girls can just kind of stand there and the guys have to, you know, work out all the time. But
they
that's
didn't
not true.
have to. They just, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of testosterone. Like, it got very competitive, you know, because I think it was something that happened naturally. Just, you know, you've got all these guys there who are in great shape, and they've been training to be in great shape, and a lot of them do martial arts, and so you just turn around. I remember like turning my head, and this was so crazy. Alex Mraz and Taylor Lautner are upside down on makeup chairs, which are high. There's those, like those, yeah, they're, and they're doing handstands on the arms of these chairs. And they are doing like push-up handstands upside down, you know. And I'm just thinking like, should I stop them? Like,
It made you want to do that, right?
No, it was like I had a lot of thoughts. That was not one.
That
of
was
them.
not one of them? You didn't want to emulate them?
No, not exactly.
You were around just a lot of guys all the time. It was a lot of testosterone because you were the only girl.
In Eclipse, that was the case. So big time. That was such an intense part of the experience. But then on Breaking Dawn, it was a completely different experience because it really, like the Wolfpack, or you know, seemed I was working with.
It was mainly just you and I and
Taylor. Yeah, but there were all these new girls. Like the Denali's and all the new vampires. It was this whole influx of girls, and I spent all my time pretty much with them. Happily. I cooked a lot.
Oh, because you didn't like the food?
No, No, just as opposed to like
There wasn't
doing
a lot of
handstands upside down.
options,
As a girl. I don't know if I can say that. It's true.
Okay, next time the guys cook and the girls do the upside down. Yeah. Yeah.
So what was the single most challenging aspect of making this entire series of films?
The weather. The weather. For me, we being like cut off shirts and shorts, and I remember it was my first day filming in Vancouver for Breaking Dawn, and there was a waterfall that had been frozen. It was so cold outside. That's how cold it was, and that was like right behind us. Remember that day? I think that was our first day out
I
there.
got very sick that day.
Yes, she was sick.
I was sick for like 2 weeks.
It was just so cold outside. And on the beach, oh my goodness. The one day I have my shirt off, there's a tsunami warning on the beach. And it's freezing cold. I'm like,
It's such an uninteresting answer to be like, it was really cold. That was the most challenging thing about Twilight. But actually,
But it seriously was.
when you are cold to the
Really
point that
cold.
you can't move your jaw to say your lines, and your skin is like raised because of the wind, and you just can't move, you're shaking violently, and
not
you're
al-
supposed to be hot.
Yeah, not only was it cold, but it was so windy on that day too. I remember there's canopies that were being blown over.
I mean, there were many days like this because it was February, March, April in Vancouver, and we were in
It was
tank
snowing.
tops.
It was
It was
snowing.
literally snowing. I mean, that was a big
we had to
challenge.
stop filming because it was snowing.
Right, we're filming for the
That's how
spring,
cold
and
it
there's
was.
2 feet of snow on the floor.
So how do you as an actor do that? I mean, you have to act like you're in shorts, and you have to act like it's not cold, and you're freezing to death. How do you do that?
I remember I don't know. They did their best that they could to keep us warm, and they'd put like the warmers in our shoes and stick them on our clothes inside of our clothes, and they had tents set up for us. But so when you get out there, you just have to do it. I don't know.
I mean, how long were the takes?
I mean, you're just out there. You're just out there all day. And they do have like warming tents.
And they would give you like pants
the trick
and like,
is
jackets in
that's
between.
the trick. I found the trick was to prevent like your core temperature from dropping too low, because if you're getting cold and if you're getting that cold, you're not going to get warm again. So you go to crazy lengths. Like I had layers, so many layers under my wardrobe when possible, and heat packs attached to my back and my stomach and in your arms and your feet, just literally everywhere. And any second, you don't take your coat off or your boots or your anything until like sound rolls.
Like if we're shooting from here up, I'd be wearing pants or
3
something.
seconds before
It's so
action.
cold.
Yeah,
like-
that was one of the jokes. Was like the most popular question on the set was, can you see my feet?
Because he wanted to wear his
Because you want to
pants.
be warm.
Yeah. Also, if you like tense your body up, like really tense it, then let go. I did that a lot, and it really something about that. I guess the blood or something. That helped a lot too. Maybe it's just my head.
So on the set, did it look like Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart had this thing going, or was that not there, or?
Had to go there, didn't you?
Why not? Isn't that part of the deal here?
Not really. No, and that's not part of the deal. We just we were just filming. We were just working.
It's working.
Weren't even noticing.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There weren't any romances on the set between any of the participants, right?
One last question.
I'm so focused on that.
What are you most grateful for in this experience?
Just the memories that I have from being a part of the series. Like some things, it'll never happen. I mean, like being able to be in a movie that's just a part of movie history, and the way the fans just like love this part, or the way the fans just love this movie and this whole series and just everything about it is so cool. And like just being able to have that thought in my head,
Yeah,
Okay.
I kind of agree with. I think just getting to play a character that meant something to so many people and being a part of something that meant something to so many people, that felt like something larger than me. Like it didn't feel like it had so much to do with me, and that was a gift. I don't know how often you get to, you find yourself in that situation. And then also the cast, some of them have become lifelong friends. They're still my best friends, and that feels valuable.
It's all the cooking together.
Yeah. We took care of each other in a lot of ways.
Well, thank you very much.
You want Stephanie Meyer to write some more?
Oh yeah, of course. She should. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
okay.
keeps writing.
Yeah. Kellen Lentz was here, and he said that he would be up to do, Breaking Dawn, Breaking Day, Breaking Afternoon. He goes, I do these till I was 80. So, would you be interested in that if she wrote some more of these stories?
It's a good gig. I
Yeah.
gotta say, like all
It is.
all things considered, you really look at it. It is. I mean, it's. I think also once you kind of learn how to manage some of the harder aspects of it, it becomes even more just positive, positives behavior.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.